Yo, what's up, people out here? It's Black once again. Number one fight fan as usual, ain't that changed. This video here, I dedicate to predicting the October 15th fight between Bernard Hopkins and Chad Dawson. First, let me say I'm a fan of both of these guys. I mean, here you have Chad Dawson, a young lion, very talented, tall, southpaw, very rangy, good jab, good fundamentals. On the other hand, you have, in my opinion, the greatest champion of my generation, and that is Bernard Hopkins. I mean, 20 successful title defenses. 46 years old, oldest champion in history. This has all the makings of a good fight. Chad Dawson is now trained by Emmanuel Steward, who I feel he really doesn't get the credit that he deserves, but he's a damn good trainer. However, I really don't feel that there's nothing really too much that Emmanuel Steward can tell Chad Dawson that Chad Dawson already doesn't know coming into this fight. Chad Dawson should already know that in order to beat Bernard Hopkins, he's going to have to do one thing: outwork him. Most of Bernard Hopkins' opponents, they simply just cannot seem to outwork him. And I think that's highly due to the simple fact that whenever they try to get going, Bernard simply is just a master at offsetting their timing with a beautiful counter straight right hand, and that poses a little fear in their mind. They have them thinking like, every time I try to attack this guy, he offsets everything that I do. He offsets everything that I do, with that damn straight counter right hand. That makes them slow down their attack, it seems like. And Bernard knows that, and he seems to laugh about it and enjoy himself fighting. As more recent as the Pascal fights, Bernard Hopkins has actually been a bit more pleasable and excitable to watch. For the first time in his career, to what I can remember, that's the first time I've seen Bernard Hopkins genuinely hurt by a punch. But he shook that off in like a matter of seconds. In the second fight with Pascal, Bernard Hopkins was caught early, I believe with a right hand, and you could tell it's stumbling, but he recovered quickly. Now, of course, in their first fight, and I'm talking about Hopkins and Pascal, I really felt like Hopkins won that fight. He dominated that fight. But of course, they gave it a draw. No Canadians don't know what they be thinking about, but anyway. The second fight, much more obvious. And it's ironic because the same guy who Bernard just whooped, Pascal, is the same guy who gave Chad Dawson his first loss. The problem with Chad Dawson is that he's just too laid back. I don't understand that. He's very talented. He has all the tools to be on a, pound for pound rank list. He should be up there. He has everything. I don't understand why he's just so laid back. He refuses to go for the kill. It's like he doesn't have that killer instinct. Floyd Mayweather even once said that he felt that Chad Dawson was the best boxer out there in the game right now. Of course, Floyd was saying that when he had stepped away. But, like I said, when I first saw Chad Dawson, I liked him, but my first impressions was he's just a little too relaxed, too just nonchalant in there. I seen him when he fought Adami. He was dominating the fight, but he never tried to finish off Adami. And, what happens when you can't finish off an opponent? Sometimes they come back to get you. He ended up knocking down Chad Dawson. and it added a little more excitement to the fight, but Dawson went ahead and defeated him. But getting back to the, or should I say, my prediction for this fight, I believe that Bernard Hopkins will once again defeat another young, hungry fighter. And here's why. Even if Chad Dawson tries to step up his attack towards Bernard, that plays right into Bernard Hopkins' hands. Bernard is an excellent counterpuncher. Everybody always says, well, speed up the tempo against this guy. He's old. He's 46. Well, it's kind of hard to speed up the tempo against a guy who's just so masterful at offsetting your timing, disrupting your rhythm with a steady right hand. Whether he leads with it or he counters with it. That will slow any attack that you have. I mean, can Bernard be knocked out in this fight? Of course. Can he knock out Chad Dawson? Of course. It takes one shot. That's all it takes. No matter how good you are, one shot can change the fight in an instant. So, if Chad Dawson comes in being himself, lackadaisical, lackluster, and just laid back, that's going to play into Bernard Hopkins' hands. I mean, Joe Calzaghe, he fought Bernard Hopkins, and yeah, he was basically doing a little slap boxing and stuff, but the reason why Calzaghe won that fight was because of his speed and everything. His speed bothered Bernard Hopkins. Look at other fighters who beat Bernard Hopkins, mainly Jermaine Taylor. Jermaine Taylor wasn't really, even at that time, he really wasn't what I would like to call a great fighter. He was just young, hungry, and strong. He beat Bernard Hopkins because he outworked him. Those two fights they had were very close, and you can say controversial because, it could have went either way. Jermaine Taylor hit a lot of straight right hands, counter right hands at that. But he just simply outworked Bernard Hopkins. I believe if they were to fight again, I think Bernard Hopkins would dominate him. That's why I say Bernard Hopkins, in my opinion, is the greatest champion of this era. So, I don't know if Bernard Hopkins will knock out Chad Dawson. I think he may just school him for 12 rounds. Although Bernard Hopkins said he's going to go for the knockout. It wouldn't surprise me if he knocked out Chad Dawson, because I think Dawson is there to be hit. His reflexes aren't what he may tell you that they are. I don't believe that his reflexes are that good. I've seen this guy, kind of basically shut down on his defense, meaning that his defense ain't as good as it should be, in my opinion. I wish Chad Dawson would use his height and his reach advantage a little bit more. I don't understand why tall guys, like Paul Williams, I just throw that name out there. I don't understand why tall guys try to fight on the inside. I think Dawson should keep his distance and work behind that jab. It'll take one hell of an effort for Dawson to beat Hopkins. And I just don't see it happening. I don't think Dawson has it in him. I don't care what Emmanuel Steward tells this man. There's no way getting around Bernard Hopkins. So, October 15th, you hear it first from me. Bernard Hopkins will beat Chad Dawson. As always, feel free to comment on this video. If it's something I said that you don't like, feel free to leave it in the comment or a response. And if you like what you hear, feel free to comment, leave a response. Thank you. It's Black.